Would you like to move over and let me in?
No, I can just turn the...
Oh, yeah. You're clever. I like when you have to straddle the thing, though. I'd see how uncomfortable you are. That's great fun.
I have the wrong glasses on. Well,
Oh.
it's what was I going to say? Oh yeah, no, I'm getting used to the setup now a little bit. So that's
It only took you 9 months.
It took me a few weeks. It sounds really good when you we speak up close to us like this. It sounds really that I think that's how we should talk into the mic. You try it now.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hello. You're listening to the O'Neill household coming live to your sitting room.
How do you know it's their sitting room they're in?
Coming live to your device.
Okay, well look, I'm trying to again. I know this is very boring, but I'm trying to.
Say people have a pain in their hoo-has with you. Do you know that?
Yeah. You look really. You don't look as tired as you do
I'm
normally.
not as tired.
No.
No.
Yeah, you look. Yeah, you don't look. Oh, we've got people already. Mr. Ford, Aaron, good to have you. I was watching Aaron's videos today.
Were you? Caught up?
Yeah, I was watching.
The ambulance looks well, doesn't it?
Huh?
The ambulance looks well.
Does and
I saw it on Instagram last week.
I'm getting feedback there, me on here.
Are you?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Oh, did you do the fridge?
No.
Oh, Jay. Rookie error.
Can I hear it though? Can I hear it in this now? Because I have it set up so it
But
shouldn't.
listen how loud it is.
Shh. Don't think I can hear it. I don't think I can't hear it in here.
Can you hear the fridge?
It sounds like a lawnmower in the distance.
There's no data. It's saying there.
Where?
There, look on
Where?
the screen.
No data. Excellent connection. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I was watching Aaron. What was Aaron doing today? Oh yeah, he was showing his LED lights
Oh, I
and
didn't know
stuff
what you
like
were going
that.
to
Yeah.
say there.
No,
You
that's
shown as what?
he was showing bits and pieces like that. So yeah, no, it
I like the fridge.
looks like it's coming
and
on
the
well.
The light in the thing for the little toilet for Deirdre. Actually, the wine rack for Deirdre.
Yeah.
Like that. I love a wine rack.
Well, you can put a wine rack in the van.
It'll be an empty wine rack now for the next while.
Yeah. Ginger Barry wants to know how you're feeling.
I'm feeling very well, thank you, Gingerberry.
Very good.
Does everyone remember
evening,
the bottle
Neil.
of wine Jason was drinking here last week? The glass of wine Jason was drinking here last week that turned into the bottle of wine. And remember, he had to test then the widgets to see that they really taste bad. Just remember him giving out about them?
I did.
So he then had 3 cans.
Was it only 3?
3 cans of Guinness. And lay in bed then all day Saturday, dying in the living jigs. And of course, I was in college, so the poor child had to fend for himself.
Yeah, I had a very bad hangover, and I think that I can't listen to myself.
Every time I came out of my class, I had to feed everybody.
Well, I think the thing for me was that I hadn't drank
So long.
over Christmas or anything like that, and I don't think I'd had a proper beer in a long time. So the combination of the red wine and oh yeah, I'm not sure what I was 3:30 when I went to bed or something like that. Was it?
Look, that's frozen.
Is it? No, it's an excellent connection.
I know, but it's frozen. I'm
What's
not
frozen?
making up lies.
What's frozen?
The screen was frozen.
Push too much. Was it?
Mm.
Okay, let's see. Let's have a look now. I'm literally setting off to drive home. 25 minutes. You'll be the sound. Okay, very good. Safe driving. No, can't hear the fridge. No, very good. I was fitting LED lights. That's correct. We saw that. Evening all, and congratulations about it. Thank you, Laura. And it's okay now. Well, that's good to hear that it's okay now. I'm liking this new mic. and I'm kind of getting to grips with it now. It just takes a bit of kind of getting used to. So if you're anyway interested in ever setting up something like this, there's software you can download called OBS, probably for Aaron, probably most. So the sound goes through OBS on the Mac, but we're uploading from YouTube. So trying to get it to work. There's quite a bit, and obviously I'm not a sound engineer or anything like that, so I'm kind of having to figure this out as I go along. There's a lot of stuff.
You drink my lemon.
It's our lemon, isn't it?
Well, I bought it, but you know what? You can, because I had one glass earlier on and I nearly died with heartburn.
Really?
Yeah. It's just too sweet for me.
So, an update, I suppose, seeing as it's a kind of van channel, the update is that she's going in on Thursday for 2 days to California. She's going in on Thursday for 2 days to get the canopy fixed and to get the blind fixed, and presumably they're going to clean and scotch guard the seats and stuff like that. Was there anything else you were supposed to do?
I meant to email them, didn't I?
Yeah, well, you can just remind them before then. So that's the update for the van. She's going to go in and she's going to be seen to. She's going to get done, and then hopefully there's no issues. I just kind of got it into my head the other day. What they'll do is they'll come back. Careful, that sound could be dangerous. So yeah, it is, isn't it? It's
could wait for me to stop.
Very Barry White. It is. It's great.
It's full of Barry White there.
So, and then I had this kind of premonition that we'll get the van back, and then it'll be like the elevating roof won't work or something stupid like that with these guys. You know what I mean? And just
no. Don't be sending me blood pressure.
I'm not. I'm just saying. You know. And you know that I'm completely now hooked on these T3 synchros. I love watching YouTube videos on them. I have a strange fascination. I was watching some guy today, and he has a T3 synchro, and he went to Norway, and so he has it, and it's like a raised body, and it has big chunky tires, but he's not. The van's not kitted out to deal with the really cold weather and everything like that. But such scenery. Oh my God, Norway is so beautiful. So beautiful.
None of them really are kitted out to deal with. I know we have the heater, but if you didn't have the heater, none of them are kitted out to deal with the cold weather, because they're all just tin cans.
Well, they're a small space.
You know?
They're a small space. You know, that you're kind of dealing with. So they don't. So the warm air tends to get sucked out, like, basically, you know. But anyway, don't distract me. So, but but he was the mountains, and just so beautiful. But the air is, because it's cold and crisp and dry, it's just so clear, you know. But then what was happening was, he was showing him in the morning, he had to dig himself out each morning because there's so much snow, that he was getting trapped in the van every night. But I think the thing for me is,
didn't stay there for a month now.
I don't know. I was kind of half watching.
In the van.
I was half watching. No. Well, no, I don't know. I kind of got a bit bored watching him, but I think it's just so beautiful. But I think that's on the to-do list. I'd love to do that. I'd love to fit the Rainmaker up with some proper snow tires and head off up to somewhere like that. I think what I do is I'd start in Scotland first in the winter, see how I get on. You know, in a country that speaks English. And, you know, it's not a million miles away. See how I get on over there, and then try and head to Norway. So it's on the to-do list.
I think so.
It's on the to-do list. You yawning?
You're boring me.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay.
I had something I wanted to say, but I can't remember now what it was.
Well, then you should make notes.
I should.
You should write it down. So yeah, so hopefully the van goes in and it gets sorted, and so on and so forth. We get it back all well. So yeah, so that's it. I was watching Aaron today, so I'm looking forward to seeing Aaron's ambulance converted.
I think I wanted to tell them about your drinking escapades.
Oh yeah, go on and tell them about my drinking escapades.
No, I told them already. I peaked too soon.
Well, you see,
I told them the only bit of news right in the first 4 minutes.
But you don't expand on the stories. You kind of,
because there's nothing to expand on. You dirty lush.
Well, what happened was, you see, so I was drinking the wine and it was lovely. Well, it was a bit very full-bodied for me now. It was a wolf blass, Cabernet
Sauvignon.
Sauvignon,
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Cabernet. Yeah. So it was, that a wolf glass. It's not cheap, but it's not too expensive either. And it was quite nice, but quite heavy. But then, sure enough, then what happened? Then, as I said, I'll try one of those Guinnesses just to test out my theory. And I had one, and then it turned into 3. And then at 3:00 in the morning, I was sitting there. I'd gone down a rabbit hole of music.
Listen to
music.
Shit too loud.
I had YouTube on the telly and on the laptop.
I had to come down at 1:30 and ask you to lower down, didn't I?
Yeah.
You'd woke me up 3 times at that stage.
Yeah. But that's the first night I've done something like that in a long time because basically Christmas was spent more or less on my back. So do you want to tell people, how's the bump coming along, V? The bump's coming along? Yeah.
Good. Yeah. It's growing.
Yeah.
Rapidly.
And you're starting to get a little, you're getting sensations and stuff, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So that's fascinating, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron, that we saw like the reason we're having the baby is because we saw Charlie is very good for the channel. So we thought I didn't want a dog, I love dogs, and the cat would be useless in a van.
I was already enough with you shedding your hair.
So we said what we do is we go ahead and have
I follow a couple on Instagram, and they bring their cat in their van.
I've seen it, yeah.
And they have the little net and a Claire Dome or something like that, I think her name is.
Yeah, but it's a very special cat that does that.
I know, yeah, but but they have the little netting and the cat sits in the netting.
Yeah, but...
I know.
Cats run away. They're idiots like that. You know what I mean? Cats are not the same as dogs.
I think they have her on a lead, though.
Yeah, but like imagine, you want a special cat who would not run away. Because if you move house, like when we moved house, remember when we moved house? First, I moved between here and there. I moved home, and we had our own cat called Belle, beautiful little black and white cat, and we had to keep her in till she got used to the fact that she'd moved. And then when we moved here, we had to do the same thing. But when I first got her, I actually had Belle the cat before I knew Vanessa, and I kept her in, and then I let her out one evening, and I said that she'd be grand. So she was kind of around the garden and everything, and then she was gone. Sure enough, she was gone. And I was out the window like an idiot, calling her and all that kind of stuff. And there was no sign of her. So then I was devastated because I thought, I'm only after getting this cat. And I had her for quite a while, but she'd gotten out. So I had her in a previous house, and I'd moved into this house. And she got out and she went. So then... that was it then. I was kind of like looking out and calling her and banging her tin and all that kind of crap and everything, right? So no sign of her whatsoever. Next thing, someone knocked on the door, and this woman says to me, "How you doing? I'm looking for a cat." And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for." I said, "You mean because she was I think she was Spanish?" And I said, "You found a cat, And she goes, "No." She said, "My cat's lost. I'm looking for it. Have you seen it?" And she described. Now she was as gutted as I was, right? You could see she was devastated. And I was going, "No, I'm so sorry." And I said, "But if it's any, if there's any kind of, it's a coincidence, and if there's any sympathy," and I said, "My cat's gone missing as well." And she goes, "Is it a black and white cat?" I know what it is. And she goes, "Yeah, 4 doors down. They were telling me there's some kitten gone in under their shed." So I was like, "Oh, thank God." So I went down and got her and rescued her, yeah. And had to get her back out.
She was a mad old cat, wasn't she?
She was, yeah. She's a great cat. She was a great cat. And then she got feline AIDS and up and died. She,
broke her heart.
I don't know how. Yeah, she had a few. She didn't get it from.
Doing the ball thing. She was a good cat.
Doing the nasty because
she got a bite. Remember, she got a nasty old bite.
She got a few bites, and apparently you can get feline AIDS from that. Cats can, and so yeah, she got feline AIDS, and then she developed.
Cats are feline, so that's why cats can get it.
No, what I meant was I wasn't implying a human being could get feline AIDS from a bite. Maybe you can. I don't think you can. No,
it's feline AIDS, Jay. It's feline AIDS.
No, well, a zoonosis. Do you know what a zoonosis is? A zoonosis.
Someone who works in a zoo?
No, zoo.
And knows us all?
No, zoo, like zoological, refers to animals, right? And like the virus that we have, COVID, is a zoonosis, right? Because it has come from bats into us, so it has crossed the barrier. So that's why we get swine flu and bird flu, because those viruses pass back and forth. But not all viruses do, and viruses that don't are not zoonoses.
Human beings can't catch feline AIDS.
This is not working. Is it not scrolling now?
No more down there.
Good reason that it's unknown fact that children cost effect all. Yeah, children are very cheap. And then when they get to 18, they can start subsidising, you know. Charlie's not going to do that, is he? Although, imagine if we'd have gone out and got a dog and then had a kid.
Oh, God. It'd be terrible having to give the dog back up.
I was just thinking, because you can only have 4 in the van, but a dog wouldn't count, would it?
No. It doesn't get its own seat.
Those weirdos have 2 cats and 2 dogs. I'd lose me reason with who's that? Oh, that must be the people you're talking about, is it?
Ah, no, they don't have dogs.
Must be someone else. Cats. So pharmacists do it over the counter. I take it
Cats
you mean
versus dogs.
I know cats are better than dogs.
Oh, right.
Now I love dogs, but I would describe myself as a cat person. There's just something
I like
about
their
cats.
independence.
I like cats. I just think cats. I think as a pet, they're
not
easier.
needy.
They're easier. No, they're easier to mind. I think cats are. I think they're easier to mind than dogs. And then there's the whole. You don't have to clean up after a cat unless it's a house cat. But that cleaning up after the dog is just not. That's not something I'd be into. No, I remember doing it. And
let's not talk about something that's going to make me vomit.
yeah, okay, fair enough. Couple on YouTube, those weirdos. Laura, I would say everyone on YouTube's weird. Except Aaron, obviously. So, yeah. So what did you want to talk about then? Did you have any topics? Does anyone have any topics that they would like us to cover? I think the thing for me, I was watching a documentary on the Sky thing about Trump. And wow. Just absolutely amazing what's going on over there. But then...
Why were you watching the documentary without me?
I don't know. You were doing your class or something like that. I don't know what you're doing. I just got into it by accident. But it is just amazing to see what... And he did incite what he did. But, 70-something million people voted for him. Just incredible.
Well, the freedom of choice. Yeah.
Just incredible. That's a country really struggling with its... with that division
Identity.
And stuff like that. Yeah, it's really all over the place. But I think the thing is, I'd say this.
All we can do is keep them in our prayers.
Well, yeah. What social media is, I see these people have a voice now.
Don't blame social media.
No, I'm not saying that, but they have a voice through social media, and they can coordinate themselves through social media. So you see, it's not. It probably always was there. There's probably always this element there, but now they can grow and socialize and coordinate themselves. So a bit like
we have our own lunatics here in this country.
Well,
Dirty.
potato, really, isn't it? I think I'm very down the middle politically. I think that's the thing. I think the loonies are no longer in charge of the asylum. True. So, I was...
Well, depending on your perspective, it's true.
Yeah. Well, anyone that QAnon and stuff like that, and people who buy conspiracy theories, like flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, people like that. Now, to me, I can understand, because when COVID started, I remember so the closest thing I got to being an anti-vaxxer or a flat earther, the closest thing I've ever been, was I almost panic bought toilet rolls. Right? So I was like, so I was like, we don't need them. But then I could see everyone doing it. Now it took me about a week or so, and I did ring you, and I said, should I? But even though the company I work in, the shops we have, sells toilet rolls, and I knew there was like container loads coming in, I was still kind of going, maybe we should. But you can see, even in that situation, so you could imagine if you were maybe not as intelligent as me, obviously, you'd buy into these kind of conspiracy theories and all like that. And that, see, it's all bad science and the way we're designed and stuff. I don't know. That's the thing. It's like sort of lock them up. Charlie is fab, Aaron. Very good. It's nice the way people can kind of communicate back and forth, isn't it? Like, and do that. So, I actually, I was very interested in a thing I saw the other day. So I struggle a little bit with anxiety, and what else do I kind of get a bit worried and anxious and stuff. A bit anxious about things as well. But I'm always working on it. I'm always trying to be conscious of not getting caught up, and I've been working on it for the last few years. And I saw something from time to time. I kind of come across things that summarize what it is. You get these kind of things that are an epiphany. You kind of go, oh, that's really interesting, and something resonated with me. So I saw a thing somewhere. It was either on Instagram or YouTube or somewhere like that. Whatever. Probably not Instagram. I'd say YouTube. It's probably a video, and it was saying that these things are all fear based. I was saying this to you, wasn't it? So they're all fear based. So if you can, and basically what they're saying is anything really in your life that is negative in some way, you can consider fear based. And for some reason,
that's what anxiety is.
It just clicked with me. And so I think the thing is, I'm always trying to look not for these kind of quick wins and all that kind of stuff, but I'm always looking out for something that helps me not be anxious and worried and everything like that as well. So I'd be these kind of, I'm always early for things because I start to feel anxious. Like going into a meeting, I get slightly anxious. Anything really like that. I get this slightly worked up a little bit, right? But I think the thing is now I'm saying to myself, I know it's fear-based. And you know the way sometimes you get these kind of repetitive thoughts and everything like that? Did you ever get that? Or you start going down a kind of negative thing.
It's anxiety.
Yeah. So I think the thing for me, so anyone who suffers with this, just tell yourself that all it is based in fear. And probably the fear of nothing. And it does the treat for me. It works really, really well that if I turn around and I say to myself, because, you know, trying to do these breathing exercises and this, none of that works for me. But this thing of kind of like saying that it's fear-based.
Talking yourself off the ledge, basically.
Yeah. But I don't know what it is. It's just something that kind of caught me and I went, oh, yeah. Because if you think about it, if you're having an argument with somebody, right, it's fear-based. If you think you're ugly, it's fear-based.
Yeah, well, you see, I'm reading this book at the minute, and it's called Finding Your Own North Star. And it's all about your social self and your something else self, I can't remember. But that thing about everybody thinks it.
Everybody thinks what?
So you think that everybody thinks you're ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Because maybe one or two people told you that as a kid.
Yeah.
Right. So, and generally they say it's a parent, it's a sibling, or it's a school teacher.
Yeah.
Who told you you're stupid. Or
someone
whatever.
in authority kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that kind of thing. But someone who was influential to you.
Yeah.
And they become your everybody.
Right.
So because they said it, it must be true.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to really do with the fact that you think it yourself. You mightn't necessarily think it yourself.
I definitely don't think that about myself.
You think that everybody else thinks it. So then it becomes ingrained in your body, basically.
Yeah.
And you can't. So I was reading this thing, and it was this guy, and he was really, really intelligent and everything. And he was the youngest of 4 sons. And his brothers used to tell him he was stupid, and he was no good, and he was this and he said, you know, the usual stuff that siblings tell you. And so he began to believe it, and he went into this self-sabotage. So not purposely, but it was like he'd set himself up for a fall. He'd go in, he went into an interview, and they were like, tell us why you want to work here. And he was, I don't want to work here. You know, that kind of thing. So So then when he went, and he went to the life coach that wrote the book, and she was saying to him, so explain it to me, and where did it come from? So she gets you to write out a list of people who is your everybody. Yeah. You know, so he was saying, well, I'm stupid and everybody thinks I'm stupid. She said, well, who's everybody? Because, you know, that's like the sweeping statement. Yeah. So specifically, who thinks you're stupid? So she said, right. And she said, and who thinks you're intelligent? And he was going, nobody. And he says, well, maybe the people that gave you your degree in college think you're intelligent, and maybe, you know, that kind of thing. So you earned that degree. So you're clearly not, you know. But then there was another one, and you were saying about people reading magazines, and like what we were talking about here last week, and about kind of the when you see the skinny 6 foot something models or whatever, that you start to, it starts in like self-loathing, because you're not that, and you're never going to be that, because first of all you're 5 foot nothing. Yeah. You know, so it's just society has us led to believe that the everybody is out there and they're doing that, when really it's only a really, really small minority, and they're dealing with their own issues anyway.
Well, but you see, and I agree, and I think the thing for me is that I think when you kind of go down this kind of rabbit hole, I know, you know, like we all have hang-ups, physical hang-ups about ourselves, about various bits and pieces like that, but it's a sort of like an exaggeration in your mind. But I think, you see, I think the thing then is, it's sort of like, you know, it can get away from you, and then dominate your life and ruin your life. And I think the thing for me is this thing. I was always anxious. I was always a kind of anxious, anxiety prone kind of person, and I think it's a lot to do with my childhood and all that kind of stuff. But I think I've struggled to kind of find some kind of solution to it, and I've tried running and dieting and meditation and all sorts of different things as well. And they've all worked. They've all helped. I'm not saying they haven't helped. They've all helped me in their own way. Everything has sort of built up on each other over the years, on layers upon layers. The running had an effect on me and taught me something about myself, but gave me the space to go out and freely think about things and all that kind of stuff. But I think from what I find now is that, if you think that it is fear-based, so if someone has a go at you about something, or you're fighting with somebody, that even for those people, you say to yourself, that's a fear-based reaction. That person is super angry at you because on some level there's some fear that they have. And I think then you might not know, in my mind, you might not know what the fear is. I don't know when I get anxious about things. Like we were at a funeral, at the last funeral we were at, and I was sitting at the funeral, anxious about leaving.
Whose funeral was it?
Ginger's brother, was it?
Dolly's
brother, sorry. And I remember sitting in the church feeling anxious because I hadn't taken the day off. And I was sitting there feeling anxious, and no matter what I tried to do, I couldn't control it. And the thing about it is, you're sitting there kind of going, someone has just died and they're being buried, and I'm at their funeral and I'm feeling anxious about what? So it's this kind of free floating anxiety about nothing. But then if you can just tell yourself that it's about fear, but I don't understand why I feel the way I feel, but I know I'm fearful of something. For me personally, I found that was very therapeutic and very helpful. And it just, what it does is it stops the immediate thinking of these kind of things. Harry Barry, Dr. Harry Barry, great name. He's very good to listen to, and what he would recommend that people do is critical thinking. So when you start to, this is the point you're making, when you start to go down this rabbit hole of thinking these things, what you need to do is you need to apply some critical thinking to, you say, is this real? Is this really what's happening? Or am I, as he was saying, catastrophizing things? So he was going on about COVID, that we get into this whole catastrophizing of things. And you're kind of going, yeah. But I think if you're an anxious person and you're on your first step to working towards trying not to be anxious, I think there's a lot in there, not to make you anxious, but there's a lot in there to understand. But I think if you can start to say to yourself, I know this is some kind of fear-based response and I don't fully understand why I'm feeling this way. But I think accepting it then, and this is the thing that they'd always say about accepting it. And I could never understand that. I was going, I don't understand. How can I accept this? But I think when you say, yeah, I'm having some anxiety response, but I'm fearful. But if I accept it, you do kind of immediately kind of relax. It's counterintuitive, but it does work. This is all the stuff I know you're going to be doing. You're not going to do that, is it? You're doing life coaching. But you're big into all that stuff, aren't you? Now you have me turning away to you. So it's not only do you not look at the lens, now I have to turn away. Sorry, folks. So Vanessa. So there you go. Better have a read. Get the people in on the action. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. Where are we? Eamon finally made the live chat. Well done, Eamon. And you've got my super sexy voice to listen to tonight. So let me see. Young people are the worst for anxiety. Do you think so? Do you think young people are the worst? Would you say that? I don't know. I think it affects all ages. I take your point though. I think they've a lot more pressure on them.
And it's more obvious with them as well because they're dealing with their hormones and they don't understand the hormones, first of all.
Yeah, but that's all.
They're dealing with huge life changes.
But is that not the same for everybody? Does everyone not have to go through the teen years? Is it different now? Because,
well, obviously you have to get through your teen years, yeah.
No, but I know. But I don't know if being a teenager. I think.
Well, you see, they catastrophize everything. So teenagers, everything is a drama and an absolute catastrophe to a teenager. Do you know what I mean? So, but we do it as adults, but very quickly you kind of go, okay, just that's not normal behavior or there's something
No,
wrong
but
there.
I don't agree. I don't, because
An adult wouldn't, or a child wouldn't recognize
no,
that.
but you see, I've just told I'm 50, and I think I can remember periods in my life where I recognized in myself I was anxious. I recognized it, and I've
Yeah, but you've always been an anxious, so you're probably worse when you're a teenager, or it could have gotten worse over time because you were never taught how to deal with it, or it was never acknowledged and it was accepted, and that's what went on around you anyway.
you see, I think I have more. I think as you get older, I think you naturally calm anyway. So I think probably young people are probably more anxious, but and I think it's in the nature of being young and frenetic and all that, like busy lives and stuff like that. But I think lives, and so, but I think as you get older, people tend to calm. But I'm kind of, I would always go in and expect the worst. Do you know that way? Like I used to work in a factory, and I was a shift production manager, and so there was four of us managed the shift, and we took turns, right? So there was always two. There was two every day were on, and then would alternate and stuff like that because of nights and everything like that. But I remember I used to go in the morning, and no matter what, when I used to go in and when the guy would be handing over to me, I would always be kind of going, "What's wrong?" Or someone would say to me, "Oh, the boss rang, they're looking for you," and I'd immediately go, "Oh my God, what's he want?" Like it's something wrong. I'd never kind of think maybe he's going to say to me, "Well done," or "It's about nothing," But I'd always kind of go to that kind of place where I'd kind of get anxious about
But
it.
you have to ask yourself why. Why go there automatically?
Well, I don't fully understand.
Why can you not go, "Oh, the boss is ringing me because he wants to give me a pay rise"?
I think if I'm honest, I think it's to do. So when I was a kid growing up, I think my parents fought a lot, right? So they argued, and I don't know whether they argued more, but I'd say they argued a lot, right? And around us, and I think on some level that left me always anticipating arguments.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
that's why you're still dealing with anxiety at nearly 50 years of age.
Yeah,
but it's parents you up.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then I think so if you think, so if I'm lucky and I get to be 80, like the bulk of my life has been spent with this sense of anxiety. So the point I'm trying to make is that I think it does get better. I think but you need to understand it. But then I think there's a point where you need to have some kind of solution. And I was that day at the funeral, I was kind of scratching my head, kind of going, why am I feeling so anxious? But that thing about, I'm feeling slightly anxious now. But I think the thing is that when I kind of say to myself, okay, this is a fear-based response, I don't fully understand why I'm feeling or what the reaction is, then it immediately has a positive effect on me. It helps me to relax. I can immediately forget about it and go back to doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, and they say asking yourself what you're feeling and where that feeling is coming from works also.
Yeah. You tired?
No, I'm actually not.
Okay.
I am, but I'm not any more tired than I usually am.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Well, you're always very busy. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's see, catch up with the guys. Young people, so the worst for anxiety today. Okay, but we'd have to discuss that more, I think. So everyone perceives themselves differently. Very true. Yes, so then the running gives you an inner focus. Yeah. You see, I think the thing is for me, running on some level was a bit of a distraction, so a focus and something to focus around. But I think it's definitely a self-esteem builder, especially when you start doing well and get medals and you run a marathon and you kind of go, I can kind of do this and stuff like that. But there's also something very, the endorphins and all that as well. It's all very, you're so much healthier as well. It's fantastic. Running is great for it. Okay. Times I think we people have become too analytical. Age helps with letting go. That's what they say, Laura. That's what they say with age. That's why when you get into old folks' homes and stuff like that, you see old people, they're like, it's grand. Don't worry about it. They've gotten that far. But I think when you're younger, you're kind of, it's an uphill struggle when you're younger, isn't it? You have to establish yourself, find a partner, get a job, do all the things. So it's an uphill struggle, and like the whole connectivity and phones with cameras, and I wouldn't want to be a kid. Is it that you fear the lack of control? Yeah, that could be it as well, isn't it? It's a lack of control, because I think my default position is a lack of control. But then you can probably overdo it and go into too much control.
Mm.
And I might have been guilty of that in the past, I'd say, wouldn't I? But I by my nature, I'm a very I like to organize things anyway, don't I?
Yeah.
I'm very...
You don't like loose ends.
That's my... No, I don't like loose ends and something like that. So that's the kind of person I am. Anyway, enough about me. So, let's see. Oh, I am alone. What's that mean? Evening, guys. Good evening, Rory. I'd be careful, Jay. As you get older, these things become amplified. Well, again... I'd say as I get older, I feel calmer. They only become amplified
if you don't deal with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something only comes worse if you brush it under the rug and you try and ignore it, because then it's festering.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there's one thing I'd say, one strength I've had through my whole life that I recognize myself is that I do face things. I was never one for not. And I think that in some way does feed into my anxiety, because I think the thing is, one thing, so the nature of my personality is contingency planning, right? So we'll do this, but if that happens, we'll do this, and if this happens, we'll do that, and if that happens, we'll do this, right?
Last year completely threw you over the edge, didn't it?
Well, it did. COVID was very difficult for me because, trying to plan around that guy, but I think the thing is contingency planning is one of the things I have to be kind of conscious of, that I can't just go, I always have my eye, because I don't like that. When we moved into the house first, or if I buy a van, I tend to go out and buy tools and things like that, because I don't like something to happen and not be able to walk out to the shed and go, I need a hammer. I struggle with that. So people might go, well, how often do you use that hammer? I go, well, but there is times I go out to the shed and I might get a drill, or I might get this and get that and the other. And I go, now see, I know I've only used it once, but I have it. And I have a tendency contingency.
And it's in a corner somewhere.
I have a tendency to contingency plan. But I think that is a level of, like what Eamon was saying, that I think the thing is that it's a level of planning to control things, that I don't like. And I always admire people who are who are non-anxious. You're not an anxious kind of person, I don't think. No. And that's helped me as well.
Certain things I would be.
Yeah. Well, you bottle a lot up though as well.
I'm a self-soother. We've established that.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell when you're getting anxious, because I'm kind of going, is she anxious, or is she got wind, or
she's just a bit scorpy.
Yeah, you're kind of going, what's wrong with you? Because you do bottle things up, and then you tend to crack. Oh, I meant to show everyone this. Right. So change the subject. Just
as about to talk. I bottle things up because I've never given a chance to talk.
Well, you can talk now.
No, you're all right. Don't want it. Don't want it. No.
You can talk now in a second. You can. This is your podcast. I'm sick of saying that.
Shut up,
I'm sick. Now, if I stop, right? Okay. Right. Okay. So.
I'm only messing.
No. We established this 9 weeks ago, so or longer. Did anyone ever have one of these things? So Christian was given this by his uncle, I think, was it?
No.
Who was it?
Pal down the road.
His pal gave it to him. So it's been sitting in Christian's room. It nearly went
2 years, nearly.
Is it? And it's like, oh, we'll throw it out. No one's going to use it. So Jay over Christmas, that's me, Misha. It's Misha Jay. So what I did was I said, no, I think we'd been given these as kids, but you know yourself, you'll never finish something like this as a kid. So this is what it's supposed to look like, and this is what I did. So there you go. We're over here. So it's quite good actually. There's a lot of detail in it. Where is it? It's there.
And we painted that and everything.
Yeah,
it was just grey.
Yeah.
Plastic grey, like when you got it.
It's all
painted it.
It's all hand painted, and the whole thing. It's all put together. All those little stickers are the little kind of transfers that you have to take out, and it was quite enjoyable to do. Quite distracting and trying to do it, but difficult. Quite difficult. Bed early for you tonight.
Never any other way.
Quite challenging to do, but I would definitely, would I do a bigger one and something bigger? I don't think I would. I think they're overly difficult. They don't
Should we have a load of Lego today?
They don't make it easy to do these things. But I've always wanted to have a go. The only criticism I have is this: it's a kit, and it came with 3 pots of paint. But in the instructions, you need about 6. So we probably should have gone out and bought the other 3 colours. That's why the nose on this is yellow. And then mine, it's not. And the wing and the propeller are supposed to have, the tips are supposed to be colour. But very enjoyable, I have to say. Is it in focus? Very enjoyable. focus. Let me see, because I can see your face. Come on, focus. No. Oh, come on, focus. It can see. It can see. There you go. There you go. A lot of detail in it, though.
You sound like a kid on the Late Late Toy Show.
Obviously, for people who are listening on this, and we have a huge following on podcast.
Do we?
Oh my God!
2 people.
4. So people who are watching this on Spotify. Yeah, go and watch it on YouTube. I can't be bothered explaining it. Okay, so what were you going to say? I'm going to shut up now. Crickets. Come on. What were you going to say?
No, go on. You're the talker.
No.
Go on.
No.
What's that?
No. Thank you very much. WD. Laura, are you okay? Should we call an ambulance for you? I think Laura's having a stroke. You okay, Laura? What's WD?
40.
WD 40. They make great air. That's terrible.
I don't get that.
For shooting at. Is it for shooting them down? Is it? I'm assuming, is it? Oh, wait no, hang on, have I skipped something? Oh wait no. I need to go back up. Nah, that's a man. Wait now. Okay, I didn't realize there's so many comments. I'm kind of out of sync here. No, that's a man thing. All fellas need tools. Oh yes, that's true. That's true. The big story should be the final payment on the. Yes. We haven't made it yet, though, Eamon. We haven't made it. We'll be making it in a week. So looking forward to that. And obviously, have you got your van yet? Presumably you have by now. So let's have a look. Nice job, thank you. They make. I think it's smashed up. You can help me finish the van build. Yes, I know, yeah. Anyway, it's good. Eamon's into Lego Technics.
Well done, WD.
Yeah, it is expensive. Oh, well done. Oh, thank you very much, Laura. Sorry about that. No, I'm not.
I love Lego.
I'm not hip and happening. Yeah, Christian got a big thing for
Mandalorian.
Christmas, didn't he? Still, Santi's very good. Half the stuff he got from Santi hasn't been used.
I said it to him the other day about his markers.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you draw a picture. Would you not get off that laptop now and draw a picture, or that iPad and draw a picture?
I heard you.
I have. I've drawn loads with them.
You haven't?
You haven't.
Well, do you know what happens?
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hide them. I'm going to see how long it takes for them to realise they're gone.
When Santa's budget's being spread across 2, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? So, anyway, what do you want to talk about? I like Meccano. Never played. A friend of mine had it when we were kids, and it was very good.
I don't know what it is.
Meccano. It's like they're like little metal strips with holes in it, and you put it all together, little bolts and nuts and things like that as well. It's just it's not Lego, but it's the same kind of thing.
Too mechanical for me.
Cancel the white coats. So go on. What did you want to talk about? I go to the big list. People will be going, no, don't get the list down.
No.
Well, go on then. What do you want to talk about?
I actually don't have anything to talk about. It's a very you have a bit of black here that's bothering me. Although I must.
What is it? What is it? Hey, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know, Papa. What do you want to talk about?
Hey,
Papa.
Come on. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? I do hog the limelight.
You do.
Well, then give out about me.
What do you think that's about?
Look at the way my beard's gone, look.
Quick question for all the lovely men out there. Do you all y'all put the dishes into the dishwasher? Do y'all get sidetracked when you're doing anything to do with housework? And if you were to choose between the 2 gardens to do first, would you clean up the front of the house to make it look well? Or would you do the back of the house? Answers on a stamped addressed envelope to.
So what's your point? What's your criticism?
I've asked questions.
Okay, so the stacking of the dishes. You see, it's not just me, right? And I do put most of the stuff into the dishwasher, right? It's not just me. Do you clean
them off before you put it in?
Most of the times, yeah. But it is a dishwasher. The clue is in the title.
Yeah, but you can't put potato stuff in.
Get the fairy tablets that apparently if you put something in,
And we get the
burnt to a
finish.
cinder,
And the finish are the best ones.
it'll clean them off. So I was watching a thing one day, and it was a guy, and I can't remember what it was, but he said the same thing, that what men do is the men rinse and stack the dishes, and then they load the dishwasher in one go.
So annoying.
It's just the way men think.
Yeah, but
Because I don't want to open that door 30 times a day, putting in a spoon and a cup. I'd rather rinse things and stack them, and then at the end of the day, like our neighbour puts out the bins late at night. Every night, right? He about 11 o'clock at night. It doesn't bother us at all. It doesn't disturb our sleep. Their dog barking at 11 o'clock. None of that bothers us whatsoever, right? But they're in a routine. But that's because men have routines. Men do things in a routine. I want to do it once, and I want to do it like a shirt. I'll have that shirt and those jeans, and I'm done. It's different for women. Women have, you process things differently. And that's just the biology of the situation. So
but
get over it.
Does it not bother you coming into the kitchen and seeing dirty dishes sitting on the counter?
No.
Really? That
Not in the slightest.
Not
in the slightest.
Stack.
Doesn't bother me in the slightest, and I mean that.
Drives
and do you know how I know? Do you know how I
mad.
know it's a woman thing? Because when I lived with somebody in the past, a female, it used to drive her crackers as well.
Because it's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. Not if they're rinsed.
But you don't rinse everything.
Oh, but like we're caught in this kind of halfway house of loading and not loading. It's kind of like if I could rinse them and stack them and leave them and do it in the one go, but it's not. Everything has to go in, and it just doesn't make sense. I just hate opening that dishwasher 10 times a day. Can't stand it. I just want to kind
How many times a day do you eat?
No, because I'm constantly putting spoons and things and everything like that. I must open that dishwasher 10 times a day, at least. I do. I have to come down in the morning and put my breakfast stuff in it. Then I have to put my lunch stuff in it. Then I have to put my dinner stuff in it. Then I have to put my other dinner stuff in it. And then I might have something in the evening. And then I have cups of tea. Like even if you have a spoon, if I had a yogurt and I rinsed the spoon and left it a day, I'd be like, put the spoon in the dishwasher.
Every day that you clear up after yourself. So the amount.
You're lucky you're pregnant.
The amount.
You'd be out.
Grand. I'd go back to my ma's and put my feet up.
I'd be kicking you to the curb. I'd be kicking you to the curb. It will be now. I'm telling you now.
Why is it about that time?
No. And stop hitting the mic. No, I was just checking.
Oh, right.
Because I went off on a bit of a rant there, and I lose track of time and I rant.
I know.
It's fantastic.
I know.
It's very therapeutic.
I know.
Yeah, can I read? Are we going to say something other than that?
No. Clean as you go. Well done, Will.
So, Eamon is saying he hasn't got his T7. Oh, T7. Oh, you're waiting for the T7. I want to pay cash. All right, T7. Ooh, probably electric.
Oh, yeah, I know that. You can cook a whole salmon in the dishwasher. I've seen that.
You're skipping ahead. Patience with Job. I do all the housework, all of it.
Who said that?
Aaron. I don't believe you, Aaron. I don't believe him. Do you?
Aaron, how many hours are in your day, Pa? Because between doing all the housework and doing up that van,
Aaron,
when do you sleep?
You're letting the side down, man. I mean, you can't.
I actually do believe him.
You can't put something up like that. You can't. That's just the bro code, man. Bro code. I know. I have a brother who does all the cleaning as well.
Rory,
Stephen, you go, Stephen. He does all the cleaning. Well,
I spend more time reloading the dishwasher after the wife has loaded it.
So, pharmacist over the counter says never rinse. I believe in that. Never rinse either. Aaron says never rinse either. So the only thing I would rinse is pots of, say, mash or something like that, because we have taken things out and they do tend to, whatever, mash is the one thing that those tablets, the fairy platinum tablets, that they just can't seem to handle.
None
mash.
of them can handle it.
Mash, especially not Vanessa's mash. Let's have a look now.
It's quite creamy, alright.
Never rinse. Oh jeez, it's 45 years later. Never changes. Okay.
What?
So yes, OJs is V. 45 years later, never changes. So let's see, Eamon. Yes, putting the dishes in, but I hate emptying it. Oh yeah. Hate emptying. Yeah, that causes war here as well. That's Christian's job, to empty it. Now, that brings me to a very interesting topic, right? And so the thing about it is that part of the issue with men in Ireland, I'm not sure about other countries, right, is the Irish mammy. So Vanessa is an Irish mammy, and so she doesn't want her son doing anything. Now, I was raised by an Irish mammy, therefore I have the same traits that he has. So Christian is going to grow up and persecute some other poor woman because you're passing on the traits. It sounds like I'm blaming women, and I possibly am, but that's what happens, you see. So that's why I'm saying to you, now my dad tried to get us to do chores around the house, right? Which is shocking that he wanted us to do that as another man, but he was right. He was right. And when you're not here, Christian does more stuff. And when he comes to me looking for things, I'm going to do it yourself, because that's what men do.
Because you're lazy.
No, because the thing of it is, one, I don't want to do it for him because I don't want to do it for him, right? But two, he should do certain things himself. Now, I'm not asking him to do...
Jason does these things. Do it yourself while you're there. Make me a coffee.
I'm not
Don't you?
True, yeah. Well, it's one of the first things I taught him to do was make me coffee. And he does a half-decent job. But you see, he associates it with bringing me sweet things. And then he gets in on the action. So he's like, do you want a sweet? I go, I do, but I'd have to have a coffee with it. So look, it's a reward.
Yeah,
it's rewards.
He's well able to manipulate you with the old chocolate, isn't he?
It's a mutual. It's a symbiotic relationship we have. Okay, let's have a look. Let's see. Clean as you go. Yeah, and I do believe in that, but I struggle with it. Okay. Full drainer does me head in. Okay.
I wouldn't even mind if they put them on the drainer. He puts them on top of the dishwasher. Not on the drainer. On the side on top of the dishwasher.
I believe you, Aaron. I believe you. So I'm out too early in the morning, but too late to do anything. Yeah, that's a good excuse. I use that one myself. I do half and my half and her half. Van Bill 9 to 12 editing 3 work video. Very good. Yeah. So
Aaron, do you want to move in with me?
Yeah.
We'll send Jason down to Deirdre.
That editing takes quite a bit of work as well. You know, I'd say, because you're doing it, you're building the van, you're trying to record yourself, you have to go in and edit it. I know it's do housework. That's why I can't do the housework. So soak cereal bowls and porridge. Yes, I agree with you. I do that because there's certain things you just can't get out of the bowls.
Pasta sauce.
You're fishing for compliments, Aaron. He is, and he won't get any here. So bed at 10, Aaron. Saint Aaron, what you think? He's a saint, isn't he? Saint. I find my wife has to put the dishwasher on with a couple of bites. Oh. Vanessa has done that. You're supposed to run it empty from time to time.
Once every couple of weeks.
Yeah. I blame the wife if she does everything. It's not my fault. Yeah, very true. Italian mammies are the worst. I'll take your word for it. But I think I've heard that I had a racing snail. I thought that by removing the shell would make faster. Very good. I'll read that out, right? I had a racing snail. I thought that by removing the shell would make it go faster. It only made it more sluggish. Boom. Very good. That's a real dad joke.
Who said that?
Very good, Rory. That's very good, Rory. Trying to think, do I know any dad jokes? What's the dad jokes I'm always...
You're terrible at jokes, Jay.
What's it? I'm always telling Christian dad jokes.
Oh, tell them the story I told you about McDonald's today.
You tell them. And look into the camera when you tell them.
So...
I'll relax.
I was reading this thing online earlier on, and it was a girl said to the people queuing in McDonald's this morning, the person behind me, the girl behind me, beeped her horn while I was giving my order because I was taking too long. So I paid for my order and her order when I got to the next window. Then when she got to the window behind me, she shouted, "Thank you," or mouthed "thank you" to her. And she said she must have been surprised that she paid back her rudeness with kindness. And then when she got to the collection window, she handed in both receipts and took both orders, so she had to go and queue up again.
I thought that was genius. I thought that was
absolutely
evil
brilliant.
Genius. Isn't it? That's pure genius.
It's terrible thing to do on someone, but so funny. Because do you know what? People would annoy you like that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. But would they give you out both? They probably would. They wouldn't expect it. They probably wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, why wouldn't
if you handed in both. Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Because you've paid for both.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know?
Genius. That's a genius.
My teacher was saying on Saturday that what she does every now and then is she'll she'll say, okay, the next person that comes in looking for a skinny latte, I'm buying it. You know, or what she does as well is the car behind her coming through tolls, she pays for them.
There's a name for that though. I think that has a special name. Pass it on or something like that. I think if someone does that for you, but no, that is very kind. I think that is very nice of someone to do something like that. Well, obviously the McDonald's thing now, hilariously funny. Yeah, I don't know.
How would you even, like, if you were the girl that they done it to? Now, assuming that this is real and that really happened, but if you were the person who did, like, imagine trying to explain that to somebody, and you'd be going, even her, like, you'd have to see the funny side of that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I think if they did it, you'd get what they did. But I think, again, look, I'm over analysing this, right? But I think you'd say, yeah, and they'd go, what did you order? There's no way they'd send you around again. You'd say, but it would be your comeuppance.
Yeah.
You know, it would be. No, very good.
Very funny.
Yeah,
I think they'd take your order and go, look, just wait there. We'll bring it out to you in a minute.
But without overthinking it and ruining the joke, I think it is hilariously. When you told me today, I thought it was absolutely hysterical.
I nearly choked. Sure, I was drinking my coffee when I read it. I nearly choked.
Yeah, it'd be very clever to do something.
Decaf coffee, by the way.
I wonder, is it true or is it someone's story? But it's, you know, it's one of those things. But very, very good. Yeah, very good. But it'd be something to do on somebody, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So
will we
I know.
wrap it up?
I know a version. Well, I kind of know a dirty version of that, but it's to do with a guy queuing up for taxis, and he goes to the first. So basically, I'd have to study it and see. But the story of it is that he goes to the first taxi, and your man was abusing him or something like that as well. He gives him a load of abuse, and then what he does then is he goes, okay, fair enough. So he goes away. So he waits again for another day to come back till your man is at the top of the rank, right? So what he does then is he queues up. He goes up to each of the taxis and he says, "I've no money, but if you take me in your..." So he says, so he's annoyed at the taxi driver, right? So next day he comes back and he goes to the first taxi. He says, in the opposite order of the queue, and he says to the first guy, "I've no money, but if you take me in your taxi, I'll blow you." So the taxi driver's going, "Yeah, no way." He says, "Get there." He says, "No way." So he goes all the way up each and every one. And then we get to the top of the rank. He says to your man, "Will you take me to Clondalkin?" Your man says, yeah, hop in. And off they go. So, genius, but...
And people in Clondalkin are going to get upset with you now.
Well, Clondalkin, Dundalk. No, that Dundalk's not Dublin. Well, yeah, I could say Cork anyway. Take me.
There's taxis all over the place.
Did you ever hear? There was a story I heard years ago about someone come into Ireland. It was on the radio millions and millions of years ago. Someone come into Ireland and they were getting a taxi. It was at the time when... remember... I was watching a thing the other night and they're saying at the time, do you remember, like, I remember queuing for 3 hours.
Remember?
3 hours to get a taxi in Dublin. I remember that. I remember standing outside the Bank of Ireland on, say...
You have your head. You just walk down the quays, you get a taxi, no problem.
No, you did. You had to walk out of town to get a taxi, but then you risk being mugged or shot or God knows what, right? So
because we're all those Dubs are like that.
Well, no, but then they're trying to catch a taxi. And then for me, it was difficult because I was going, well, I need to go to Bray or Greystones. And they're going, oh, no, sorry, Buddha, don't go across the border and all that kind of stuff. It's such... But anyway, the point is, you'd be waiting 3 or 4 hours for a taxi. And I forgot my point. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
What was I talking about?
You heard a story one time, a million years ago. Somebody landed in Dublin. And they were...
Oh, yeah. And so the guy had gotten in, and he knew sort of geographically where he should be going to. And the taxi had, after about an hour and a half, I heard it on the radio, I think it was Jerry Ryan was talking about it, but I think after about an hour and a half, he said to the guy, where I think we're going a bit too far. And what had happened was, he had said Killiney, and because of his accent, the taxi driver had heard Killarney. And he was like, are you sure? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, Killarney. And he was saying Killarney. I was going, yeah, Killarney. But after about an hour and a half in the taxi. But I think what happened was he stopped and then he took payment for the thing because your man didn't have enough money. And then he abandoned him. Bless you. He abandoned the guy. Yeah. I remember it was on the radio. It was a long time ago. But it's a true story. True story. Because it was on the radio. It had to be true.
Somebody who's come into the country.
Yeah. So we haven't read any of the comments.
And we're like an hour on.
Are we out of time? Oh, okay, we're out of time. So I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. Okay. Urban legend. Yeah, it sounds like an urban legend to me. The day I picked up the ambulance, I didn't have to pay the toll. Well, I paid for the car behind me. Ah, very good, Aaron. Saint Aaron. So how would I know if I paid? The lady in the booth told the girl behind me and caught up with me and said, very good. See, people aren't all bad. People aren't all bad.
Pay it forward, isn't that what it's called?
You have to get a pay forward. Yeah, that's what it is. So we're out of time, people. And
we hope you've enjoyed the podcast tonight.
Yeah, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week, and we'll give you updates on how the bump's coming along.
Do come again.
Vanessa, I mean, you're somebody's mother. Like, okay, say goodbye, V.
Bye, V.
See you, folks.
Don't see you through the week. See you through the window.